It's me again. Classic ASMR, or should that be ASMR Classic 1? Yeah, I should check really, shouldn't I, beforehand? Anyway, thank you for popping by. We've got another slice of hopefully relaxing reading for you. And it's a book I've been to, once or twice in the past. It's this, Christmas Stories, and it's by, of course, arguably one of the most famous Christmas story writers, Charles Dickens. As you can see, it was quite expensive. I paid £65 for it. I was a bit drunk, I think. I'm joking. I might, yes. But it was such a lovely book. And it's quite an old edition as well, as you'll see in a moment. But look at that. The Seven Poor Travellers, which is a story that I've already read on here. So if you go back to our old videos, then the Seven Poor Travellers will be on there. But you can see it's got the tissue paper here. The frontispiece. The book is Christmas Stories from Household Worlds and All the Year Round, by Charles Dickens, with illustrations, published in London, Chapman and Hall, 193 Piccadilly. I'll have to check and see if they're still there. I go down to Piccadilly quite often. But this was 1876, so we won't be picking this up in a library anytime soon, will we? So, the Seven Poor Travellers we've done. The Holly Tree we've kind of nearly done, I think, but I thought we might move on to the Wreck of the Golden Meal, which is here. Again, such a lovely old book. I've marked the start here with this little bookmark, which is from Wales, West Wales. The place, the Harbour Master is a real place. It's in Aberyron, a place called Aberyron in Mid Wales, West Wales. Dylan Thomas, it's on the Dylan Thomas Trail, which is where I kind of know it. Some friends have a cottage there that they very kindly let us borrow for holidays when I started writing and hadn't had a holiday for a long time. You know what it's like in the arts. That's the whole point of us doing this channel as well. Hopefully if we get to 1,000 followers, we can be monetized and then we can start to make some money, and then I'm going to start commissioning some ASMR originals. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully it'll work out. But again, you can see incredible little illustration there. I think you can see that okay. And it's the Wreck of the Golden Mary. And then this tissue paper. It's quite interesting because I haven't looked through all this book, and I get the impression from the condition of this tissue paper that this book's probably not been opened for an awful long time. I'm sure it's been opened since the 1800s, but it's quite old. So, I hope you'll find this quite relaxing. We're not going to do it all now, obviously, but it's nice to kind of celebrate the holiday season with something a bit different, isn't it? So, The Wreck of the Golden Mary, The Wreck, by Charles Dickens. Still sniffling a bit, sorry about that. I was apprenticed to the sea when I was 12 years old, and I have encountered a great deal of rough weather, both literal and metaphorical. It has always been my opinion, since I first possessed such a thing as an opinion, that the man who knows only one subject is next tiresome to the man who knows no subject. Therefore, in the course of my life, I have taught myself whatever I could, and although I am not an educated man, I am able, I am thankful to say, to have an intelligent interest in most things. A person might suppose from reading the above that I am in the habit of holding forth about number one. That is not the case. Just as if I was to come into a room among strangers and must either be introduced or introduce myself, so I have taken the liberty of passing those few remarks simply and plainly, that it may be known who and what I am. I will add no more to the sort than that my name is William George Ravender, that I was born at Penrith half a year after my own father was drowned, and that I am on the second day of this present blessed Christmas week of 1856, 56 years of age, when the rumour first went flying up and down that there was gold in California, which, as most people know, was before it was discovered in the British colony of Australia. I was in... Oops. Here we go. It's not been open for a while. Attention. I was in... Wow, actually... Look at that. How weird. It's actually not been printed, it's not been cut properly. When I said this book hadn't been open for a long time, I'm guessing this page has never been opened. Wow. Hang on. This is literally what you call a page turner, or a page cutter. Let's try this. I won't be able to cut it right down the edge, I don't think. Extra ASMR sound there, I think. Wow, how about that, crikey? So we literally have discovered this together for the first time. So I'm guessing this has never been looked at, this page that we're about to see now. And as I say, the book goes back. When was the book printed? In 1857, 1847? 1854 the story was written, so it was a little bit after that. Christmas stories. A little luck. Yeah, there we go. 1876. So, no one has seen this page since 1876. Isn't that kind of weird? We're about to share it now for the first time. Maybe I need to put this in the trail somewhere. Gosh, I don't know. So, 1876. Before gold was discovered in California, in the British colony of Australia, I was in... Oh, crazy, sorry about that. I was in the West Indies, trading among the islands. First people to touch this. There's a bit of fluff there as well. Being in command and likewise part owner of a smart schooner, I had my work cut out for me, and I was doing it. Consequently, gold in California was no business of mine. But by the time when I came into England again, the thing was as clear as your hand held up before you at noonday. There was Californian gold in the museums and in the goldsmith shops, and the very first time I went upon change, I met a friend of mine, a seafaring man like myself, with a Californian nugget hanging to his watch chain. I handled it. It was as like a peeled walnut with bits of unevenly broken off here and there, and then electrotyped all over, as ever I saw anything in my life. Don't get these out of the way. I am a single man. She was too good for this world and for me, and she died 6 weeks before our marriage day. So, when I am sure I live in my house at Poplar, my house at Poplar is taken care of and kept shipshape by an old lady who was my mother's maid before I was born. Excuse me. She is as handsome and as upright as any old lady in the world. She is as fond as me as if she had ever had an only son, and I was he. Well do I know, wherever I sail, that she never lays down her head at night without having mind. Merciful Lord, bless and preserve William George Ravender, and send him home safe home, through Christ our Saviour. I have thought of it in many a dangerous moment, when it has done me no harm, I am sure. In my house at Poplar, At last, being strong and hearty and having read every book I could lay hold of, right out I was walking down Leadenhall Street in the city of London, thinking of turning to again when I met what I call Smithick and Watersby of Liverpool. I chanced to lift up my eyes from looking in at the ship's chronometer in a window, and I saw him bearing down upon me head on. It is personally neither Smithick nor Watersby that I hear mentioned, nor was I ever acquainted with any man of either of those names, nor do I think that there has been any one of either of those names in that Liverpool house for years back. But it is in reality the house itself that I refer to, and a wiser merchant or a truer gentleman never stepped. My dear Captain Ravender, he says, of all the men on earth I wanted to see you most. I was on my way to you. Well, says I, that looks as if you were to see me, doesn't it? With that I put my arm in his and we walked on towards the Royal Exchange, and when we got there, walked up and down at the back of it where the clock tower is. We walked an hour or more, an hour and more, for he had much to say to me. He had a scheme for chartering a new ship of their own to take out cargo to the diggers and emigrants in California and to buy and bring back gold. Into the particulars of that scheme I will not enter, but I have no right to enter. All I say of it is that it was a very original one, a very fine one, a very sound one, and a very lucrative one beyond doubt. He imparted it to me as freely as if I had been part of himself. After doing so, he made me the handsomest sharing offer that ever was made to me, boy or man, or I believe to any other captain in the merchant navy, and he took this round turn to finish with, Ravender, you are well aware that the lawlessness of that coast and country at present is as special as the circumstances in which it is placed. Crews of vessels outward bound desert as soon as they make the land. Crews of vessels homeward bound ships at enormous wages, with express intention of murdering the captain and seizing the gold freight. No man can trust another, and the devil seems let loose. Now, says he, you know my opinion of you, and you know I am only expressing it, and with no singularity, when I tell you that you are almost the only man on whose integrity, discretion, and discretion and energy, etc., for I don't want to repeat what he said, although I was and am sensible of it. Notwithstanding my being, as I have mentioned, quite ready for a voyage, still I have some doubts of this voyage. Of course I knew without being told that there were particular difficulties and dangers in it, a long way over and above those which attend all voyages. It must not be supposed that I was afraid to face them, but, in my opinion, a man has no manly motive or sustainment in his own breast for facing dangers, unless he has well considered what they are, and is able quietly to say to himself, none of these perils can now take me by surprise. I shall know what to do for the best in any of them. All the rest lies in the higher and greater hands to which I humbly commit myself. On this principle, I have so attentively considered, regarding it as my duty, all the hazards I have ever been able to think of in the ordinary way of storms, shipwreck, and fire at sea, that I hope I should be prepared to do, in any of those cases, whatever could be done to save the lives entrusted to my charge. As I was thoughtful, my good friend proposed that he should leave me to walk there as long as I liked, and that I should dine with him by and by at his club in Pall Mall. I accepted the invitation, and I walked up and down their quarter-deck fashion, a manner of a couple of hours, now and then looking up at the weathercock as I might have looked up aloft, now and then taking a look into Cornhill as I might have taken a look over the side. Let's leave it there, I think, because I'm aware of the time. There's our Virgin pages, as it were. others. But we shall pick up on that again next time. And as I mentioned before, thank you very much for popping down and taking the time to listen. And I hope you find it relaxing. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be fantastic. And as I say, I think you probably know, if you're a YouTuber, you know how it works better than I do. But I think when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we get some of the money from the commercials that they show. So, thank you very much again for your time and your company. We should continue with this. I've also got my electric pen that I want to show you and some more notepads, but we'll do that later on. Thank you very much again